Because I still get a few texts like this, I'll read one out for your amusement. The dreadful Tory government is partly on you. This is addressed to me. Your comments and opinions helped destroy Jeremy Corbyn, unquestionably none so blind. I get a couple of these a week now, and they are from people who don't think that the Labour Party's delivery of the worst election result since 1935 has anything at all to do with the then leader of the Labour Party, and everything to do with this particular gob on a stick. And that's what I mean by people who spend their lives on social media sniffing their own farts. They have absolutely nothing to do with the broader political picture in this country anymore, and it's driven them loopy. And one offers them love, sympathy and understanding. But if it's still what gets you out of bed in the morning and you still feel as stupid and as bitter as you do, it's probably time to change your tactics. Just a bit. And I honestly, I know that sounds mean, but I honestly mean it. It will send you doolally. Anyway, I digress. You know how it works. You listen to the right show. And that's why Keir Starmer has to be careful. He can't do undergraduate type politics in the way that many of us have seen over the last few years. He can't just come out wearing a badge talking about solidarity. He's got to think about votes, and he's got to think about winning an election. So his actions yesterday will have alienated some elements of what we might call the hard left of the party. But what impact would they have had on you? See, that's the point. There is a sort of rump of people who call themselves hard left, who remain very loyal to the last leader, who spend most of their life on social media sniffing their own farts. They have absolutely nothing to do now with the broader landscape of British politics, and it's sending some of them loopy. It's horrible to see, because if you're spending your life attacking people who vote Labour when you think that you are a Labour activist or a Labour supporter, you're just a little bit weird. But hey-ho.
Well, I don't know. I think we could have predicted. I mean,
no,
I don't know
there's a
what
big
your
difference.
Twitter feed's like, James, but mine is full of very, very disgruntled Corbynites going on and on about the Forde report and how Corbyn's been completely exonerated and Starmer suppressed it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, but they are the people, and the very specific constituency you've just described are the people that I was talking about earlier, spending their whole lives on social media sniffing their own farts while being of utter irrelevance to the broader political picture. So we can forget about them.
We can forget about them, except that
the issues are very clear, and Mick Lynch has articulated them superbly. And he's almost like, why don't you just use these as a way to say what the problems are with the rail union? And this whole sort of like, all they have to do is appeal to the middle ground is just nonsensical. I mean, it's interesting, the guys I knew in Rochdale, they all hated the whole Corbyn.
I know they did, but you're not allowed to say that in the world of the ideologically pure. That's all my fault, or that's all. We don't even. That's all the fault of the right wing media, or me. It's got absolutely nothing to do with Jeremy Corbyn. How little people like Jeremy Corbyn. Last word then, because I've got a brilliant guest coming up, which is in a contrast to you. Just from Anne while you've been speaking.
So he needs to convince those people that they are good things, rather than abandon the votes of people who.
He's not going to abandon any votes. He's not going to really lose any votes.
I think he is.
Do you?
I do. Yeah, I do.
Do you think that?
I do.
You think people are going to facilitate another Conservative government because Keir Starmer hasn't come out in favour of a railway strike?
I think there are people on the left that are.
It's about 10,000.
Keir Starmer will leave a bad taste in their mouth.
So who will they vote for instead? Who will they vote for instead?
They'll vote for Greens. They'll vote for.
And we're talking about. We're talking. I mean, listen. I spend ages on Twitter, so please don't think this is a criticism. But do you spend a lot of time on Twitter?
No, I spend a lot of time Reddit.
Okay, because I think this sort of self-selecting social media cohort is tiny. I had a look at some of the sort of media organisations that are funded by subscription. I presume that they've got like 250,000 subscribers, or at least 100,000 subscribers. The number of subscribers these outfits have is absolutely minimal, and yet they drive so much social media conversation in the direction that you describe. This is what I mean by, it's an unpleasant phrase, I won't use it again, but I'll use it once more. Spending their lives on social media sniffing their own farts while being utterly irrelevant to the broader question of how the Labour Party actually wins elections. It's the large part.
I'm not sure that they are completely irrelevant,
well,
though, James.
Well, then how come they led the Labour Party to the worst defeat it's had since 1935, just 3 short years ago?
Because the media were briefing against Corbyn.
Oh, come on, mate.
No, come on, they were. They were. Okay. The media were heavily briefing.
And what do you think they're
Corbyn.
doing to Keir Starmer at the moment?
They're not exactly his best friend, but with
and in that battle, which one have you sided with today?
With the battle between
Starmer and the right-wing media.
Oh, so I would side with Starmer because.
Then why are you talking to me about people who aren't going to vote for him?
Because I know that they're out there, and
I'm telling you that they are an irrelevance.